Hello, everybody, and welcome once again to Free to Speak. This is kind of a little bit of a different episode, Paul. We're standing outside on the deck of my apartment, and it's raining, as you can probably hear and see in the distance. And what Paul and I wanted to do today was to have kind of a brief kind of update to see where we are, to see how we've been enjoying this. So this will kind of be a transitional episode, and it won't be a full episode. Next week we'll go back to doing full episodes, and we'll continue to talk about some of the things that we've been talking about. But what I wanted to do now is just to kind of have an informal check-in.
Yeah.
So Paul, how do you think how are you feeling about what we're doing so far? How are you feeling about our videos?
Yeah, I like the response. Yeah, we're having a few ardent followers. Then as well as once in a while we have comments from people that have not been following, and that's encouraging. That just means that people are gaining traction with what we're doing here.
Yeah. So, and we have had some comments from people who have been saying that the volume on our videos has been low. So I'm going to try to be adjusting for that in the process, in the editing process. So hopefully this video that you're watching will be more hearable, I guess, is that how I want to say it?
More audible.
More audible, yeah. So it's going to be more audible. So we're going to try to correct for that.
Yeah, you tried to correct for the last video as well.
Yes. So for those of you, I know that we had actually had a comment in the comment section of people saying that it was hard to understand us at times in that last video, episode 6. So I reposted the video with the volume adjusted. So for those of you that had trouble following the things that we were saying in episode 6, please go and look at that reposting of the video that I put on there where the volume is adjusted. So we'll be correcting for that in the future.
Okay.
And I did want to talk about, there was one particular comment that I wanted to address. I don't know if you had a particular comment you wanted to talk about. I don't know if it was the same one.
There's that one about suicide.
Yeah, that's the one, yeah. I have a comment here if you want me to read it. Unless
Yeah, you can read it.
Yeah, okay, so the comment that we wanted to talk about, somebody wrote, "I love Africa because they are the only remaining societies that actually uphold Christian laws even in the face of the West threatening sanctions. However, it appears the gender structure is changing rapidly in terms of women getting professional careers and men being inadequate as a result. More suicides, I expect."
Yeah, so
Wow, that's pretty heavy.
yeah, so while this is a small episode we're going to do today, but we shall expound on it better next time. I wanted to comment about this suicide component. Is that well, ideally men want to be in a position where they're able to provide, where they are able to feel masculine enough. But the current culture is in a way emasculating men. So men are, the more women are going higher in achievement, it intimidates their potential partners. So in a way, when the person is feeling like he cannot provide as much, then chances that their mental illness, their mental health is going to be affected are very high. So meaning, given that men are raised not to talk about their problems, they are raised to be more self-contained, we find that they're going to struggle more with mental illness to the point of suicide, because when a man is depressed, when a man isn't feeling well, he might not talk to anyone because there's less empowerment for men to speak about their problems. So yeah, maybe they were right. More suicide to come, but then suicide is way too exaggerated. More mental illness towards men as they will have to struggle with relationships.
Maybe one of the things that we can do next week, follow statistics related to suicide, depression, what those differences are between men and women. And we can also talk about how some of the things we talked about last week related to the changing kind of roles, how those are actually affecting families and single mother homes and so forth, and how all of this is really impacting society. All the things that we've been talking about are directly impacting society.
Yeah, about statistics, there is a well-known statistic. It's now become common talk about suicide, for almost every woman that commits suicide, whichever demographic you use, whichever geographical location you use, you'll find that it's usually one woman to two men or one woman to 2.5 men committing suicide. There is reason behind that. It's not by accident. More women have suicidal ideas in their mind than men, though more men commit suicide. So it's because women are raised are socialized to be able to communicate when they're struggling, but then men are taught to man up, so they struggle with their problems,
Right.
and then they're most likely going to commit suicide when they contemplate it.
Right.
Yeah.
So those are all things that we hope to be talking about in the next week. So come back. We're going to have some. I don't want to say exciting times, but we're going to have some more interesting conversations for you.
Yeah.
And I think we also have some other topics we were thinking about too. I think was alcohol. We going to talk about some of the problems related to alcohol.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want to talk about that. And
It's a mental health month, so mental health awareness month. So we want to dive a little bit into mental health, and alcoholism is part of it. Yeah.
mental health is May or it's April?
It's April.
It's April. So okay, good. So
So we're having in Uganda we're having a parliamentary parliament mental health forum. It's organizing a week for mental health next month. So April, May, whichever.
Okay, so yeah, so we'll be doing that, and we want to invite you again to come back, and you can see me back once again. We got some beautiful weather going on here, so hopefully we're providing some good scenery for you.
Yeah, just maybe to show off, we can just show you a little bit about the scenery.
Yeah,
Maybe you can
yeah.
just get a camera and just show them around.
How beautiful! Yeah, let's let me get that here. My hand's kind of getting in the way here. So let's try it this way.
You can just show them.
Oh, I'm doing it the wrong way. Oh, this way, yeah. I'll edit that out. So kind of take a look around. I don't know if you want to give them a tour of what we're looking at here, Paul.
Yeah, I don't know if the camera is catching the rain, but you know.
Yeah, but
Over there is a Lake Victoria.
Yep, Lake Victoria, which is a great lake. I grew up in Michigan, which is in the Great Lakes region, which is why I moved to this area, because it's about as close to what I'm used to at home, minus the tropical environment, of course. But yeah, and you can probably hear the rain. But it's very, very beautiful scenery. So I'm up here on a hill between two bays. Entebbe is on a peninsula, and we have a bay on each side. And we're halfway up the hill, looking out at one of the bays, and the lake is to the south over there. And this is one of the bays that create the peninsula that Entebbe's on. So very beautiful.
So maybe we can just talk about the fact that today's episode was not our typical episode. We shall be able to expound on this more, because today we had some reasons why we cannot proceed.
Yes.
But then next week we shall be able to proceed as normal, business as usual.
That's right.
Just to encourage you that to keep following us, bear with us, and enjoy the little that we've sent today.
All right, everybody. Then we would like to thank you for joining us. Looking at the time here, we're only going on about 9 minutes and 41 seconds. So this has been kind of short, but so let's just take one final look, Paul, before we cut out and say goodbye. So once again, we'd like to thank everybody for joining us for episode 7. And shall we zoom in? See if we can zoom in on something here. Get a good view of the lake here. And actually, if it's not raining, you can actually see, you can kind of see it faintly, some of the hills that are on the other side. It's very, very beautiful if we can get a clear day. But here it's kind of fuzzy, so kind of disappointed that we can't get a clear day. But yeah, it's a tropical rainforest, so it rains a lot here. But yeah. See you next week.